For more than a decade, Crimea has stood as Russia's most important military stronghold in the Black Sea. Since Moscow annexed the peninsula in 2014, it has served as the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, a logistics hub for military operations and a symbol of the Kremlin's strategic dominance. But according to military analysts, that advantage is now being challenged. Ukraine has steadily transformed Crimea from one of Russia's greatest military assets into a growing vulnerability. Through long-range drone strikes, missile attacks, and naval operations, Kyiv has increasingly targeted Russian military infrastructure across the peninsula, forcing Moscow to rethink how it defends one of its most prized territories. In recent months, Ukrainian forces have repeatedly struck ammunition depots, air defense systems, military airfields, command centers, fuel storage facilities, and even naval assets based in Crimea. These operations have demonstrated that locations once considered safely behind Russian lines are no longer beyond Ukraine's reach. The impact has been significant. Several Russian warships have reportedly been relocated away from Crimea to ports farther east in the Black Sea, reducing the operational freedom of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Military analysts say this relocation reflects growing concerns about the effectiveness of Ukrainian long-range precision strikes. Beyond military targets, Ukraine has also focused on disrupting the logistics that connect Crimea with mainland Russia. The Kerch Bridge, often described as one of President Vladimir Putin's flagship infrastructure projects, has been repeatedly targeted since the war began. While the bridge continues to function, each attack has highlighted Russia's dependence on a limited number of supply routes to reinforce and sustain forces stationed in Crimea. At the same time, Ukrainian drone technology has evolved rapidly. Low-cost unmanned aerial vehicles and maritime drones have allowed Ukraine to challenge a much larger military force using relatively inexpensive systems. Military experts argue that this has fundamentally changed the balance of power in the Black Sea, forcing Russia to devote greater resources to defending territory it once considered secure. However, analysts caution that Crimea remains heavily fortified. Russia continues to maintain large numbers of troops, advanced air defense systems, aircraft, missile batteries, and naval assets across the peninsula. Despite Ukraine's growing ability to strike strategic targets, reclaiming Crimea militarily would remain an extraordinarily difficult objective, requiring enormous resources and carrying significant risks of escalation. For Moscow, Crimea is far more than a military base. It holds enormous political, historical, and symbolic importance. President Putin has repeatedly described Crimea as an inseparable part of Russia, making its defense a central objective of the Kremlin's military strategy. For Ukraine, however, every successful strike carries both tactical and psychological value. Each attack weakens Russia's ability to project power from the peninsula while demonstrating that no occupied territory is entirely beyond Kyiv's reach. As the conflict enters another critical phase, Crimea has become one of the war's most contested strategic arenas. What was once regarded as Russia's most secure military fortress is increasingly being tested by evolving Ukrainian tactics, advanced drone warfare, and precision long-range strikes. Whether these attacks ultimately reshape the wider battlefield remains uncertain. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear: Crimea is no longer simply Russia's strategic advantage. It has become one of the most closely watched pressure points in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine.
If you like this video, then like, share, and subscribe to Mirror Now.